they engage in robberies, and in an attempt to, snatch people's bags or rob people, they kill easily. Because they are not exactly at that particular moment in control of their senses. So we have a lot of these things going on. Again, you also have noticed something that is becoming like the norm for the average one of us. You are on the road, and then you see somebody driving this car on a road where you are not supposed to do more than 30 kilometers per hour, and they are coming at 100. And then you know that no reasonable person will do that on a normal day. School children are crossing, the road is busy, and then you just hear them coming. So you have a lot of accidents, occurring from there. Deaths also happening from that also. And of course, you see normal, quiet gathering. All of a sudden, somebody comes in, and it becomes rowdy, becomes rancorous, and because somebody who is not in his senses has arrived. And so every little joke becomes an offensive statement, and then the way they react and everything, and before you realize it, bottles are breaking, chairs are flying, and all of those. And then, of course, these days, guns are shooting, and all of those. So these are issues.
So
and don't let me forget, in the hospital now, we have a lot of young people coming down with liver diseases, kidney diseases, that ordinarily you cannot be able to trace until you by chance. Because they will not often confess to drug abuse. Then you realize that these are issues. And then the issue of mental health too. We have a lot of the drug abuse or addiction specialists are overwhelmed right now. So much so that a lot of addiction centers, private addiction centers, are opening up, and they are getting a lot of clients. Yeah.
All right, so let's discuss this proposed mandatory drug test by Ndlea. It has actually been rejected in some quarters on the grounds that it is, it amounts to an intrusion into privacy of individuals. So do you think this test would actually fly in our country? Because some are already saying that it is like an intrusion into their privacy, while some parents would willingly say they cannot even allow their children, undergo this test because they believe that these children do not, are not into drugs and other substances.
Okay, you see, because that was what you told me I was coming here to discuss. And that was why I took you up when you said, when the doctor asked you, do you smoke? Do you take drugs? Imagine your own reaction at that time. It was just a question.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you come and say, have you ever had post-discharge from your private parts before? That is the way you feel like, what kind of question is this? Now imagine that somebody is just going beyond the question. They're not asking you, come and take a test today. And it's not just that in this country. It is usually something that is predicated by certain societal behaviors. Luckily this last week, it happened in the UK. It happened in Nigeria. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Somebody slapping somebody. And happened to be a lawmaker slapping an ordinary citizen. Happened in the UK. The guy in the UK has been suspended. Okay? But the one in Nigeria
has been arrested.
Has been
allegedly
arrested. Okay? So people misbehave in all climes. And oftentimes our focus, issues like this had come up. There had been presidential executive orders in this way. I don't know in what country it has been made constitutional, but it has been legalized and has been challenged severally in several courts. Now, this is it. When we say mandatory test, the first question is, are we going to go into all schools, for example? Or let's take the target now, the National Assembly, our National Assembly, or the presidency and all of that. And we come and say, Ndlea announced, we have come, everybody come and line up from number one to the last. Of course, by number one, you meet the president.
Yeah.
Mr. President, line up. We want to do a mandatory test on you. After all, you are the one that signed the order. Now, let's take it. How do you do this mandatory test? On the road, when you pick up errand drivers, they say, you do the breath test. and then the substance changes color if you are taking alcohol. Or they take urine sample or the blood sample. Okay, you can do that anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, after you talk. Okay, you can take the blood sample. Okay, how about when you want to take the urine sample? Where do you take it? You take it in public? No. You want to take it in private. But there is a catch to that. The person coming may have collected urine sample from another person.
Or use water.
And then come and so you want to, supervise to be sure that is this person's urine. Are you not, impinging or infringing on the privacy of that person? To say, no, urinate in my presence. Kilo, what do you want to see? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that is one part of it. You will be intruding the privacy of some people. Now, why do people actually prefer this urine thing? You see, some of these drugs, it takes a short time to clear from the blood. The one that, okay, if you tell me, oh, we are going to test you, I'll try to dodge it for like 6 weeks. If I take the one that stays longest in the blood is about this benzodiazepines, about 6 weeks. So after 6 weeks, you test my urine, you won't find anything.
You won't find anything there.
There are some of these drugs, after 24 hours, you won't find anything. So that is why, in the wisdom of those who are gone on to carry this thing, there are 3 conditions under which you would, do this test if you have to do it. 1, if you have reasonable suspicion that this person is taking a drug, and it is because of this that this and this has happened, okay, and that he has behaved irrationally and all of that, you take the sample at that time. Secondly, if there had been an accident, okay, and you believe that that person was not, in his senses at the time that he was doing what he was doing, for example, driving a car, a policeman who shot in the air or shot at somebody, and all of that, or riding a bicycle, whatever it is, motorcycle or anything, and you suspect that that accident could have occurred because that person, is not in the right sense. Or after all, why would this is the road? You are the only one there, and it's not as if your brake failed. Then you decide to go off the road and hit a tree. Things like that. You want to check. Then, on the condition that okay, we have caught this person once, and we have been treating him and all that. We want to do a follow-up. Then we can do that drug testing again. Those 3 conditions are okay. But for you to just go out and start saying we must test everybody, it will be tested in court. Do you understand? It will be tested in court, and at the end of the day, it will be rubbish, because a lot of countries where this is being done, there is always a case in court, and it's always around you are infringing on my personal freedom. So that is the thing. So NDLEA would then have to really work on this based on the experiences around the world, and it will then be that there must be specific conditions under which this will be done. It cannot be just blanket. Imagine, is a law, and for as long as we believe that nobody is above the law, the first person to be tested should be line them up. Mr. President 001, Mr. Vice President 002, Senate President 003, Rep 004, the Chief Judge, until you get to 260 million.
And do we even have the resources
The capacity.
to exactly carry that out?
So now, whether or not we have the resources, the point is we have now done the test. For example, I want to take you through the process, because oftentimes when we think of doing things, we only think of one, and that is why, for example, we want to do the road from Ashiru to Ibadan. Is that all that is about roads? Okay. But how about the drainage? Okay, how about when we now finish, how do we monitor the road to ensure that it is properly used and all of that? So when you finish taking the test and it's positive, what are you going to do? You are going to send the person to prison? Okay, so he now gets to prison. What he was taking before is ordinary Igbo. Abi? Now he gets to prison. He is now introduced to Kolo or Canadian loud. You understand? And then he graduates. He gets more network. He comes out, and then he was a user before. He becomes a dealer. Are you thinking through? This person has been found to have tested positive, what is the next thing? To send to prison or to do some medical support? Okay, to put into a program. Do you have the facility for that program? To be able to, rehabilitate him and all of that and all of that. If you have a system that is medical, for example, oh, we send you to data in Arrow or one thing. Do you have the program for societal support afterwards? Because by the time you start doing that, and then let's say all the data centers in Nigeria can take 2,000 of them, and then you have pulled them now, they are 20,000. How ready are you to take care of this? Now, when you say 14 point something million Nigerians are using drugs, okay, let's now say we tested 260 million and we're able to catch this 14 point something million. What happens? Do you have what it takes to now rehabilitate all of this? And I will say, look, in what we now propose, what we call regenerative leadership, I will take you back to the book of Genesis, the story of creation. What God first did was, He said the earth was void and there was nothing, Abi.
Yes.
And then God said, let there be light,
And
Abi.
there was light.
And there was light, so that you can see what is the work is doing, isn't it?
Yes.
And then the seas and all of those things came into being, the animals, the trees, bugbe. And then the last thing He did was to now, He created, not the last thing, He created man, Abi.
Yes, it did.
By the time He created man, everything that man needs to survive was already in place. Okay? But what our government do is to first create man
Before now.
and start searching for what is going to survive on.
Okay, Doctor.
And then he will die off.
Okay, this is what we'll do, sir. We need to go on a break for the national news right now. So when we return, you take us again from the beginning of from the book of Genesis. All right.
Maybe to Revelation.
Please stay with us. We'll definitely be right back.
The Daybreak Show. We don't just scratch the news, we dig deep for it. Breaking the beats on the chips of the analysis, tale by tale, narrating the antecedents you've never for once been told. We place the force of the rock behind every story. And that's the power of the rock. Rock City 101.9 FM. 4 stories untold.
The biggest news stories. This is Rock City FM News.
The time is 10 o'clock. Here is the national news. First, the top headlines. Abiodun orders clamp down on illegal garages across Ogun State. Northern monarchs and governors reject tax bill on VAT revenue, says it is anti-North. Federal universities shut down on day one of non-academic staff indefinite strike. Passengers escaped death as bus plunges into stream in Benue. Good morning. I am Osatuame Ighalo Chima. Bringing you the news and details shortly. Now, the news in detail. Governor Dakpo Abiodun has ordered the immediate clampdown on all illegal garages springing up across Ogun State. He asked residents to stop patronizing such illegal garages, which according to him are also being used by criminals as their hideout. He says these garages are constituting nuisance, especially along Mowe and Songwater axis of the state. The governor, in a statement, warns that his administration would not fold its hands and allow their operation and also expose passengers to unnecessary danger. The illegal garages are being used by the operators to exploit commercial drivers and commuters at the period when his administration is working to reduce transport fare. He also said these illegal garages charges exorbitant fees, which is unacceptable. The governor read a riot act as the state task force on environmental compliance and enforcement shut down 2 illegal parks in Abeokuta. The 2 parks are located opposite June 12 Cultural Center and the NNPC junction, both at Kuto. Medical services have been interrupted at federal hospitals in Ogun State as health workers embarked on a 7-day warning strike. The warning strike is scheduled to end on November 1. The affected hospitals are the Federal Medical Center Idiaba, Neuropsychiatric Hospital Aro, both in Abeokuta. Those on strike are mainly the administrative staff, laboratory staff, and pharmacists. Skeletal services are being operated by medical consultants, resident doctors, nurses, and midwives. New patients and inpatients who called at the hospitals on Monday returned home disappointedly. The health workers are members of the Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, and Association of Health Professionals. Ogun State government has embarked on a series of intervention and support programs for farmers to ensure food security and reduction in prices of food commodities in the state. The State Agriculture and Food Security Commissioner, Honorable Bolu Owotomo, announced this while flagging of harvest of fish by trusted farmers Adodo Ota Cooperative Multipurpose Society at Ijako, Ewukwe, and Anishere Fish Farm Settlement in Adodo Ota local government. The fish harvest was undertaken under the Ogun State Economic Transformation Project, OGSTEP, in partnership with RBS Consortium. According to the commissioner, over 1,000 fish farmers were captured and supported, with each getting 72 bags of fish feed at a discounted rate of 30% under the program.
Today we are in Adodota local government in Trusted Fish Cluster. This fish cluster has 3 different groups and is a combination of over 1,000 fish farmers. Each of these fish farmers have been supported to the tune of 72 bags of feed by the state government under the OGSTEP program. They contributed 70% and the state government discounted it by 30%. This is in furtherance to the vision of His Excellency Prince Daprabiodun to ensure that there is abundance in food production in Ogun State, to ensure that we improve the livelihood of our farmers, and to also ensure that the price of food in the market comes down.
Speaking at the event, the project manager of OGSTEP, Dr. Shiyolugbile, represented by the project coordinator, Mrs. Musumola Owodunsin, said the program is not for fish farmers alone, but every agricultural sector. Mr. Wilfred Ayishere, who's a representative of RBS Consortium, the value chain development firm in charge of Ighalo zone, comprising Adodo, Otai, Mekwafon, Ipokia, Yewa North and Yewa South local government, appreciated Governor Dapo Abiodun for his continuous support, commitment and dedication towards agricultural development in the state. The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sahad Abubakar III, has asked North 19 state governors to keep a close tab on the growing population of Almajiri and out-of-school children in the region. The Sultan said millions of them are now roaming around in towns, cities and villages across the northern region. He stated this on Monday during the meeting of traditional rulers in the North and the Northern Governors Forum in Kaduna. The traditional rulers warned that the children poses a serious challenge that must be tackled urgently before things get out of hand. He equally suggested the establishment of the Almajiri and Out-of-School Children Commission in the northern region. The Sultan explained that educating the Almajiri and out-of-school children would give them the freedom to work for themselves and humanity. Meanwhile, the northern state governors and traditional rulers have rejected a tax reform bill that is now before the National Assembly. The bill, which is one of the 4 transmitted by President Tinubu to the National Assembly, seeks the adoption of a new formula for sharing the value-added tax. The governors and traditional rulers, in a communique issued at the end of their meeting in Kaduna on Monday, asked the National Assembly to reject the bill. The content that the bill, if passed, would favor the South more because it seeks to base the sharing of the VAT revenue on actual consumption instead of the location of the headquarters of companies producing goods or providing services. According to them, VAT sharing should be based on the consumption of goods and services. If it is based on it, it will reduce revenue for the North and other regions with lesser commercial activities. Federal universities nationwide have shut down on the first day of a strike by the non-academic staff of the institutions. The strike, which is indefinite, aimed at compelling federal government to address their demands, including the payment of their withheld 4-month salaries. They are also demanding the full implementation of the 2009 agreement. Academic activities were disrupted as supporting services were paralyzed by the striking workers. The national president of SANU, Mohammed Ibrahim, and the General Secretary of NASU, Peter Zademi, ordered members to embark on the strike. Ibrahim said the strike followed the expiration of several deadlines issued and protests which failed to yield positive result. He cited the 50% of the withheld 8-month salaries which the president had not paid. Meanwhile, the presidency has clarified that President Tinubu is not the substantive Petroleum Resources Minister. The portfolio, according to the presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga, is the creation of the media. Onanuga, speaking on the television program, said there was no time that the president appointed himself as the Petroleum Resources Minister. He explained that in 2023, Tinubu appointed 2 ministers as Ministers of State for the Petroleum Resources Ministry. They are Ekperibo Ekpo in charge of gas and Heineken Lokpobiri for the petroleum resources. Many passengers have escaped death in a bus which plunged into a stream in Benue. The bus, conveying passengers from Makurdi, veered off the road on Saturday at Ngbagwa in Kwande local government area. The bus was heading to Jordan when it skidded off the road into the stream. But fortunately, all the passengers were rescued alive from the stream. In business, petrol marketers are complaining of a sharp drop in patronage by motorists as the pump price of a litre of petrol is now above 1,000 naira. The National President of Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Association of Nigeria, Billy Gilles Harry, expressed concern over the trend during a television program. He said that marketers are now finding it hard to cope with the situation and are cutting corners to survive with a sharp rise in the price of the product and low patronage. For instance, Billy Gilles Harry said of 45,000 litres of petrol, which they were purchasing for 8.5 million naira weeks ago, now cost about 49 million naira. He said it had been difficult for marketers to borrow to stay in business because of the high cost of funds. Finally, in the national news, sport news, Super Eagles forward Ademola Lookman has been ranked 14th in the prestigious Ballon d'Or award, surpassing notable stars such as Arsenal's Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, and Chelsea's Cole Palmer. This recognition comes on the heels of Lookman's stellar performances for both club and country. The 27-year-old winger enjoyed a phenomenal season with Atalanta, where he netted 17 goals and provided 10 assists across all competitions. His crowning moment came in the UEFA Europa League final when he scored a hat-trick to propel Atalanta to victory, securing the UEFA Europa League title and etching his name in the club's history. On the international stage, Lookman showcased his talent by helping Nigeria secure a second-place finish at the 2023 AFCON in Côte d'Ivoire, where he contributed 3 goals to the team's impressive run. At the glamorous ceremony held at the Théâtre du Chalet in Paris, Lookman's ranking of 14th was a highlight, placing him ahead of Saka 21st, Odegaard 19th, and Chelsea's Palmer 25th, marking a significant milestone in his career. With his nomination, Lookman has joined the ranks of legendary Nigerian players who have been recognized at the Ballon d'Or, including Finidi George, Sunday Oliseh, Victor Osimhen, Victor Ikpeba, Kanu Nwankwo, Daniel Amokachi, and Austin JJ Okocha. That was the national news, and just before we go, the top headlines once again. Abiodun has ordered clampdown on illegal garages across Ogun State. Northern monarchs and governors have rejected a tax bill on VAT revenue, says it is anti-North. Federal universities shut down on day 1 of non-academic staff indefinite strike. Passengers escaped death as bus plunged into stream in Benue. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com. Thank you for listening. I am Ustatuame Ighalo Chima. Good morning.
Traffic updates, business news, weather reports, eyewitness reports, and a variety of topical issues. These are the basic ingredients of a top-notch breakfast show. Welcome to the Daybreak Show, weekday morning.
One time for the fearless people, 2 times for the fearless people. So you say me a get energy, get energy, get energy, energy. Yawa no day, yawa no day. You know say me a take can't pay. We fearless energy. energy drink, I conquer my energy drink. Fearless energy drink. I dare fearless. Embrace the trees.
Fearless energy drink. Fearless energy drink. Now available in 50 cl can.
Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Happy family, happy home. You know in every room there's a Muka, yeah. Get comfort, stay refreshed. Choose Muka mattress, oh. Sleep better, live better, Muka.
Muka, adding comfort to life since 1959.
Electricity, vibes on the frequency, yeah.
Go solar. No more darkness. Go solar. Stay in business. Go solar. Grow your business. Modern problems require modern solutions. In the face of high fuel costs and failing electricity, now is the time to go solar. Paradise Life Nigeria Limited, expert in solar procurement, installation, and maintenance, offers you high-quality service for your home solar systems. We are dealer in all solar equipment and accessories, solar panels, inverters, batteries, charge controllers. We also specialize in the installation of CCTV, solar street lights, electric fencing, automatic gate installation. Also, solar lights. Training is also available. Visit Paradise Life Nigeria Limited today at Paradise Solar House beside Star Times office, Alogi Obantoko, Abeokuta. Visit our website on www.paradisedigitalworld.com or send a WhatsApp message to 0803 910 9394 or call 0905 672 5977 0905 672 5977. Paradise Life Nigeria Limited. Go solar. Grow your business.
Daybreak.
Nigeria.
The Daybreak Show.
We are Nigeria. We are that turning point generation. We are Nigeria. We are the future.
We are the future. We are the dream. We are the nation. We are part of it. Yes, we are so amazing. That's the least we shall be. At the heart of the nation, changing history.
All right, welcome to the second and final lap of today's edition of Citizens Forum on Rock City 101.9. And yes, before we went on that break, we had discussed with Mr. Femi BABAFEMI, who's the Director, Media and Advocacy of Ndlea. And equally, we've had with us in the studio Dr. KUNLE ASHIMI, who's the former chairman of Ogun State chapter of Nigeria Medical Association. Before we went on that break, you actually took us to the book of Genesis. And then now,
you want to end it
now
as a
we are
revelation.
back. Let us yes, please.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. You see, what I'm saying is that if we're going to do things right, we have to be very holistic and purposeful in what we're doing. And I use the book of Genesis as an example because I believe that the ultimate aim of creation is to create man in the image of God. But before God did that, he made sure that he created, imagine if he created man in darkness. He created man and there was no water. He created man and there was no food. He created man and there was no, animal to hunt or whatever. But he did all of that first before he created man. After then creating man, he then remembered that, is this guy going to be playing alone in the wilderness? Then he created a companion for him. So, if we're going to take a holistic approach to anything we're doing, we have to think of what happens before. So when we are talking of doing mandatory testing, we have to look at how will the people take it? What will you be infringing upon? How would you channel it? Under what conditions are you going to do this testing? And how do you carry out the testing? You